Good evening to all our viewers there, and I'm sure there's a lot of you there waiting for this round 2 preview of YouTube. Keith, we had our first round. Unfortunately, 5 big wins, 5 big losses. But anyway, it was the first round, and you know, things do happen. Sometimes aren't right, cherry ripe, etc. So, you want to just do a quick review of what happened?
Yeah, well, as you say, they're pretty clear-cut results in every game, and usually round 1 does provide an odd shock, but that was not the case last weekend, and I think both you and I tipped all of the winners, so that was that. But obviously, you know, there's some sides that look really well placed for this season that come out of it, and there's 4, particularly Sale, Matron, Terrelgan and Leongatha certainly did the job superbly at the weekend. Druin had a good win, but will perhaps need a little bit more time to assess where they're really at compared to the other 4.
Okay, Naomi, did we have any shock results in the netball, and did they go as what was?
Yeah, pretty much again as planned. Quite close results, which just goes to show that this season it's likely to be closely contested. A few new girls in a lot of teams, so it'll be a matter of, you know, trying to find places, work out where everyone fits before we really get down to it in about round 5 or 6 when we see who's really going to storm ahead.
Okay, our first game for round 2, Sale are hosting Maui. I think that could turn out to be a long trip for the Maui boys.
Yeah, I'm not expecting an upset in this one, Chris, for sure. Like Sale, obviously, not just the size of their win at Bairnsdale last Sunday, but the fact that they really put it in for 4 quarters, didn't ease up at any stage. It's obviously a very, very good side. They started off much the same way last year, I think. Then ran into some problems, but yeah, no, they're looking in good shape, and Maui's got a fair bit of work to do, so I think Sale should win that pretty easily.
And is there like Matty Ferguson 11, Brenton Martin 5, the usual. Marto always seems to, you know, he's been a prolific goal scorer in the league, and Matty Ferguson's obviously a class act, and he'd be pretty confident as a captain coach at the moment.
Oh, Ferguson's probably a bit better than a class act. Yeah, he's an outstanding player, and taken over coaching this year, and obviously has an effect his play. So it was a great win for them. Yeah, I perhaps expected a bit more of Bairnsdale, the home Sunday game to kick off the season, and plenty of enthusiasm up there, but obviously not the quality on the field to take it up to Sale.
Okay, yeah, look, I'll tip Sale to knock off Maui as well, and in the netball, how do we look there?
Well, we actually have a bye because again Maui still doesn't have the A-grade side, so Sale will get another round of practice before they face Druin the week after.
Fair enough, that was quick.
Well.
Okay, we'll go to the next match. Wonthaggi are hosting Bairnsdale. Both are coming off big losses, but obviously both will be eager to atone for those losses.
Yeah, Wonthaggi's loss obviously wasn't as severe as Bairnsdale's, but again, it's early days. It's a little bit hard to work out where some of the clubs are placed. Wonthaggi didn't have some of their name recruits line up against Leongatha. It's a long trip early in the season for Bairnsdale, particularly after a heavy defeat. So I think apart from anything else, home ground advantage and the type of recruits that Wonthaggi brought in, if they've got most of them on the ground on Saturday, I expect Wonthaggi to win this.
Yeah, it's interesting just looking at the best players in the first round. Lee Cummins, who's an ex-Terrelgan player, Brent McFarlane, who's an ex-Druin player, and a couple of the names there I don't know, but of course young Gilliland, sorry, he's not that young anymore, but he was amongst them, and a couple of the goal kickers there, I really don't know the names, so they're an unknown quantity at the moment. But
that's one thaggy. Yeah,
I do mean one faggy, sorry. I thought that's what I'd said, but fair enough. In Bairnsdale, their young Nathan McCaw, you know, he's only a young kid out of the thirds, was named their best player. So obviously they've got some good kids coming back, and I see Cameron Streeter, who's an ex-league representative. So I think this will be a very close game, and yeah, purely because it's home advantage, I'll go for one faggy. But the netball A grade there, how will that look, or how does that look?
How does that look? Well, one faggy struggled really against Leongatha last week, and so they're really going to have to tighten their boots if they're going to have any chance against Bairnsdale. Bairnsdale went down by just 2 to Sale, but I reckon they'll come in with a bit of a fire this week, not wanting to have 2 losses in the first 2 rounds. So I'm thinking that it's going to be Bairnsdale victorious this week.
Okay, well the third one, this will be, well it should be the blockbuster game. Traralgon are hosting Leongatha.
Yeah, I think this is certainly the game that has the most interest in it this week. Leongatha, yeah, they lived up to the talk that was going around before the season. That was a really good win at home. I looked through their team list for last Saturday, and gee, it's got some good players. Yeah. Apart from the new guys that have come in, the Richmond connection and elsewhere, but I see Cole Sandbrook's back, yeah, nice and fit and rearing to go. Hayden Brown came in, obviously made an impression. It just looked to be a list of 21 players, all good players, but they can't come up against 21 very good players too, and a very good team. It has not greatly changed from the premiership unit of last year. The matches at Traralgon, Traralgon certainly impressive against Warragul. I expected Warragul to do a bit better against Traralgon, so obviously they came out firing, the Maroons. I'm actually going for Traralgon at home, and the fact that it's a side that's had a good season together, won a premiership, and yeah, I just think they might sneak over the line. Result the other way wouldn't surprise, and I just think it's one of those I'm plucking in the air a bit, but home ground advantage, a bit of team stability at Traralgon points me that way.
Okay, I'll actually go for Leongatha on that. I think their small men look pretty good, as Traralgon's do as well. But I just think the momentum at the moment is really going at Leongatha, and I think
momentum after one game.
Oh,
right, pretty good momentum.
They've had practice game wins. They've had all the momentum's there. Mel Mackey tells me it's all going like anything over there at the moment. So the boys will come across the hills, fired up and ready to have a go at Traralgon. The netball.
Well, Traralgon and Leongatha were the 2 big winners in round 1. But Leongatha has definitely come in with their boots blazing, and I think that we'll see Leongatha victorious over Traralgon. They're still a young side, so I think they'll come towards the middle of the season, even though they had a big win. But yeah, I think we'll see Leongatha take it to Traralgon this week.
Okay, we go to the next one, and more Warragul. I think this could be a lot closer than what people would have predicted a few weeks ago.
Well, I think it's going to be pretty close, an interesting game, and it's a bit like Traralgon and Leongatha, but I think it's a bit of a toss-up. I expected a fair bit more from Warragul last week. Wasn't quite sure what to expect with Morwell. They've scored a reasonable amount of goals against Mapraloose. Conversely, Warragul struggled again in the forward line, which has been their trouble for the last couple of years. That said, however, I've just got that feeling about Warragul. There was a lot of build-up around the club pre-season and going into last week's game with a heritage round with old black and red jerseys, and I think it'll just give them a chance to settle down. And I think they'll be a fair bit better. As I said, the real worry about them is goal kicking. Ben Hughes there, he got 3 goals out of 7. He's come from a very good side, in a very good competition in the ACT, so he possibly didn't get that quality of service that he was used to up there, where it's either ball presented most of the time to advantage or at least to a 50-50 contest. So they've got to work a bit on that. You know, obviously he's only had 1 go with the club. They need some more firepower up forward. I don't know whether they played Josh Halley well, for example, last year, but another target up forward, and if they can find some of the smaller guys who can really work off them and get a few goals. I've just got an inkling for Warragul, but it's an inkling not based on a great deal of really factual information.
Okay. Yeah, look, I think this will be a really tight game, actually, but I expect the Tigers just to be in front at the end, but Warragul giving them a really hard game. I do believe that Warragul has improved a lot, and just more will have their nose in at the front for me at the end of the game. In the netball, how are we going there?
Yeah, pretty similar. I'd say that more will come over, but not by that much. Both teams have really good teams on paper, so it'll come down to how well they can combine on the day, but I'm thinking that Morwell's going to have that slight advantage over Warragul this weekend.
Yeah, well, we go to the final game for the round, Drew and Mafra, and I'm just looking at the best players and goal kickers here, Keith, last week. Adrian Burgill, 7, Tatterson, 6, Stubb, 4, best players. Adrian Burgill, Daniel Stubb in there, and Calvin Porter, who always plays a great game. It looks like Mafra's back in the hunt and meaning business.
Yeah, I get a few emails from the Mafra end of the league, and it's certainly not so much from the players or coaches or team officials, but their supporters are pretty buoyant. Not that they're never not anything but buoyant. But yeah, it's a very impressive performance last week. How many goals was it? About 20?
27.
27, and that's been one of their strengths over their decade or more at the top or very near to the top, is their ability to kick big scores. Drew and Mafra really played close games and had a bit of a 50-50 situation the last 2 or 3 years as far as wins go. But if Druin can keep Mafra down to a manageable score, they have a chance. Whether they can do that, not sure. I tend to lean to Mafra in this game. Druin's still got a couple of very key players out. If they were available, it's probably getting close to a bit 50-50 seeing the games of Druin, but I think the way it stands at this stage of the season, that Mafra certainly goes in as favourite in this one. And I'd be surprised if they don't win.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it, they're 4 key forwards: Burgill, Tatterson, Bedgood, and Stubb. I think the Melbourne's always stretched. The Druin defence will be stretched to hold those 4, so I would expect Mafra to actually win that fairly easily. But in saying that, I know with Druin, just watching the game last week, whilst they haven't got a lot of stars, they've got 21 goers that keep plugging away, and if they can stick to their guns, they could cause an upset. But I do expect Mafra to win.
Yeah, no, Druin should be pretty satisfied with last Saturday's effort, and particularly the second half. They showed a bit of what they've shown for the last 2 years. The other thing that you mentioned the 4 key forwards here from Mafra, but they've got blokes like Gary Jones and other guys who just come in, aren't capable of kicking that 4 or 5 goals. So yeah, they've got the firepower, and I think that's, you just got to keep Mafra to work out a way to keep them to 14, 15 goals and kick more than that yourself.
And I suppose you talk about the ball coming in, but when it's coming in lace up from Porter and Jonesy, it's pretty hard to stop those guys. Anyway, final game of netball.
So Mafra had a really close game against Mull. Each quarter was won by no more than 3 goals, and they managed to just get over the line. So I think that they'll be ready to give Druin a bit of a run for their money, but I know that the Druin girls, after having a bye the first round, are itching to get out on court and give it a real go. Chris Carroll will be in for his first game as senior coach for Druin, so I expect to see some changes to what we've seen in the past with the way things are run, but being a Druin girl, I expect a Druin win.
So
Is this the match of the day, a match of the round in netball?
No, I actually think the match of the round is going to be Trog and Leongatha.
So having 2 weeks off in footy, it's usually, gee, they're going to be stale, the girls are Druin.
I think if it had happened mid-season, I think for them it's just going to be like it's their first round. They've been pushed hard at training and they're really ready to get out there and get their season started.
Okay, there you have it. Well, round 2, and I'm sure we're going to have a couple of upsets this week because it's been we've had close seasons over the last 3 or 4 years. And obviously the top sides at the moment look fantastic in the first round, but let's hope for the sake of the competition and the supporters that we do have some upsets. But anyway, thanks very much, and we'll see you next week.